Welcome everybody. It is Crypto Moose and it's time to get loose. Mitchell Bouchard, your crypto and NFT investor. For those of you that have been tuning in every week, I applaud you and thank you so much. It means a lot. We're going to be doing a lot more content going forward for the rest of the year as well. We're doing about 4 or 5 videos a week and, I believe almost 330 videos we're at. So that's really cool to see. So if you guys don't mind, if you get something out of this, don't forget to check out our online courses. That's going to help you out a lot. So for those of you that want to learn about cryptos and NFTs, that's a good spot to check out. And also smash a like button and subscribe. That's the one way you can really help out. So with that being said, I got my tea ready. I put in a lot of time and effort into this video, more than usual. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, and I want to do a quick little chat first. So what we're talking about, as you may have seen in the title, is we're going to be talking about Midnight. So this is the privacy blockchain, sidechain. We'll talk about it in this video for Cardano, and it's a big deal. So recently on Twitter, we'll go over that, Charles gave a little spiel along with some of his team members. So they have a pretty big team, and I want to go over that in this video. So this is going to be an up-to-date explainer video of what is Midnight, what can you expect, where are we at today. And today it is October 12th. 2 a.m. So 2:20, just turned 2:20. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So also right now, just a fun fact, not a fun fact, but a fact indeed is, you've got the Hamas in the Israel conflict. So that's happening. I'm Canadian, but thoughts and prayers go out to individuals who are in the Middle East and in these other countries. So that's happening in, the market's taking a hit today as well. So Bitcoin 26,862, Ethereum is down 5%, and Cardano's down 5%. So nothing too egregious, nothing that we can't recover from. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So I took some notes and I have a lot of tabs open. So Midnight, okay? This was just announced, so let's check out the Twitter. I guess we'll start out there first. So one thing that you can do is check out this video or this talk. So this is going to be a Twitter Spaces, and this is the one right here. So you want to follow Midnight. So it's at Midnight Network. So the capital NTWRK. So you want to follow that. And again, we're going to be doing a little breakdown. So grab coffee, get a cup of tea, enjoy your time with Crypto Moose. So that's the purpose of this channel. As I educate myself on the space, I'm going to educate you as well. And I created a graph. So the moose went loose. The moose has spent probably a half hour on this episode, which I usually don't do. So I hope you enjoyed this. So Midnight is an innovative new blockchain empowered groundbreaking apps that safeguard sensitive commercial and personal data. Apply for DevNet. So that just came out. So this is midnight.network. This is the website that you want to go to if you want more information. So this is what we're going to uncover. And the main theme is empowering data protection apps. So we're talking about adding privacy to a sidechain for Cardano. So our groundbreaking new data protection blockchain will empower regulation-friendly apps that safeguard sensitive commercial and personal data. So that's the main motive that we're going to talk about. So there's all this information, and what I did is I took all the information from the website. I, in fact, went to doing research on snarks, talking about zero knowledge proof. So we'll get into that a little bit. I highlighted a couple of key areas, And this is what we're going to pay attention to. So on Canva, I created this little document. So what we're going to do first is we are going to focus our attention on Cardano, because once we understand a little bit more about Cardano, then we can really dive into what makes Midnight what it is. Why are they building Midnight, right? And what are some of the main use cases? So that's what we're going to get into in this video. So Cardano is a proof of stake blockchain platform. As you all know, we talk about Cardano all the time. It's the first to be founded on a peer-reviewed research and developed through evidence-based methods. We talk about that all the time. It's one of the most peer-reviewed blockchain ecosystems. Really, it's the Ethereum competitor. And, based on CoinMarketCap, Cardano is number 8. Okay, so we have an 8 billion market cap. I think it's going to be closer to where Ethereum is today in the next bull run. So even if it goes lower, I'm just going to buy personally, not financial advice. But that is what I'm getting at there. So Cardano is a top layer 1 blockchain, and it is, in my opinion, the best proof of stake protocol. Okay, so it's Ouroboros, and we'll get into some of that as well. So let's go through it all. It combines pioneering technologies to provide unparalleled security and sustainability to decentralized application systems and societies. So we know about different dApps that have been built. We use MinSwap. We talk about it a lot here on the channel. So check it out. Type in MinSwap. Type in JPEG stores. We go through NFTs and all that. We even have courses on it as well. So layer 1 blockchain, Ethereum competitor. If I were to give a title or just explain to somebody why Cardano, what is the main benefit? Well, it's an incredible layer 1 blockchain, and it is an Ethereum competitor. Lower transaction fees. I would say it's not as buggy at times, and you don't have the egregious gas fees. That's the main thing. So that's what I like a lot about Cardano. So we got proof of stake blockchain platform. Blockchain is built using a functional programming language called Haskell. And there's a reason I'm going through all this information, because we're going to compare it to Midnight. So I recently just, I didn't read a book, but I was listening to the audiobook of Leonardo da Vinci. And it was very interesting. And the reason I mention it is because I want you to all get some knowledge out of this. And, if you study somebody like Leonardo da Vinci, he dabbled in different fields. But what was unique and what I took out of his work is that if he wanted to learn how to draw a bird flying in the wind, he would study the wind. And then he would study the anatomy of the bird. And then he would synergize the two. So, not that I'm Leonardo da Vinci. Maybe you can call me Leonardo Moose. Comment down below. Is the moose getting too loose, or is he actually turning into Da Vinci? Who knows? Who knows? Actually, my drawings are pretty bad. So probably not anytime soon. But my point is that if we focus and understand Cardano, then we can really compare it, right, to Midnight. And that's the goal of what I want this channel to be about, is, having fun, but also presenting, an understanding of the basics of blockchain technology. And I think that's something to strive towards. So we have that. We have Ouroboros enables the Cardano network's decentralization, allows it to be sustainably scale, global requirements, etc. So as you know, Cardano has been built to scale, right? Ethereum, not so much, right? It gets expensive, especially when it gets clogged, when there's too much usage on the blockchain. So Cardano took its time and they built a beautiful blockchain that can scale over time. So it's important to think 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead. That's what I like about Cardano. So when you're purchasing Cardano tokens, ADA, that's what you're buying into. So we even have that here. We have ADA. So that's a token that is the fungible native asset for the blockchain. That's ADA Cardano. Okay, so we're going to compare that real soon here. Best use cases, fungible tokens, used for payments, right? You could buy NFTs, go to JPEG store. You could do so much with Cardano, which I do like. In fact, we'll even put up JPEG store to give you an idea. You can connect your wallet, and it's pretty cost effective. In terms of transaction costs, ETA is not very expensive in my opinion. So here we've got a NFT marketplace JPEG store. You can easily click on an NFT, buy it. So already Cardano has a pretty good use case in that sense. All right, so we're not going to be buying that NFT. Permissionless, so we have the permissionless, trustless. So anybody can create a wallet. You can create a wallet if you're at home or at your office, wherever you're at, and you can begin to use this trustless system, and it's all protected by the blockchain network. It's using encryption. Smart contracts, self-executing activity. So even with the NFTs, as you can see there, you can make offers, and self-executing activities happen on the blockchain, right? So very unique use case. NFTs, specific assets, we just went over that. Store value. So in a way, I mean, you could definitely argue that Cardano is a store of value. You can buy tokens, and those tokens have value, and you're storing value, in the tokens on the blockchain. So that's really cool. Those are the use cases. So what we're going to do now is talk about Midnight. So we're going to reveal a little bit of Midnight. So again, the moose got loose, and comment down below in terms of a presentation. Am I at an A, B, C, D? What would you give me? This is the best presentation that I've ever given. I never gave a presentation like this at school. Maybe it's just easier over the internet, or the fact that I'm into blockchain. So with Midnight, okay, so Midnight will be a data protection based blockchain that safeguards sensitive commercial and personal data. So just starting there, and we'll get into the specifics as much as I can. Midnight is more focused on the privacy aspect. So we're going to take a look at Cardano. Now with Cardano, when you have the assets, when you're using the blockchain, all the information is public for the most part, right? So when you have tokens, you can see, which wallet has it, etc. But how do you protect data, right? There's sensitive information. For example, if you want to have medical records, how are you going to do that? And we'll get into that in this segment right here. So protecting fundamental freedoms of association, commerce, and expression for developers, companies, and individuals. So we're going to break down what that means, because I was confused. I was listening to this and I was like, whoa, like, what does this mean? So I'm going to break it down. I tried to understand it as best as I could. So let's dive into that. One important note is that I labeled this as a sidechain to Cardano, the privacy player. So layer 1 blockchain for Cardano, it is a layer 1 blockchain. So Cardano, layer 1 blockchain, Ethereum competitor, one way to look at it. With Midnight, it is a sidechain of Cardano. So it's its own blockchain, but it's focused on privacy. Okay, so you have Cardano, which is a layer 1 blockchain. And then you have Midnight, which is its own blockchain, but it connects to Cardano. So it leverages the decentralization of Cardano. So why eliminate Cardano when you can leverage off of its infrastructure? That's one way to think about it. So remember that. That's an important aspect. So we got data protection first, dApps. Okay. So the idea is that you can build dApps. So similar to what we have with Cardano. Cardano, they build decentralized applications all the time. You can go to Cardano Cube. And the idea with Midnight, and we'll get into the specifics, is that we have data protection first dApps. And we'll get into it at the bottom, but this is a blockchain that you can turn on and off for privacy or public. So we'll get into those specifics. So we got many programming languages starting with TypeScript. So if we compare that to Cardano, Cardano uses a language called Haskell. And from what I understand, I'm not a coder, but Haskell is, it's a hassle, right? So it's difficult to code. Apparently, it's just not as easy as TypeScript. TypeScript is very well known, so that's really good. So the entry point for building with Midnight is nice, and you want to see that, right? Especially for scale. Companies will be able to share mission critical information without the fear of leaks of censorship. And then you also have ZK snarks. So that's proof of knowledge. So the idea with Midnight, in essence, is that you want to have a blockchain where you can prove that you know something without giving up your identity. So how do you do that, right? And I did some research into this, and that is ZK snark. So that is with Zcash. So for those of you that don't know, Zcash is a privacy token, and I'll pull it up on the screen. And I don't know all the specifics, but I found a document going through how Zcash was basically the first to like implement it. So here we have Zcash, a pretty big privacy token. So you have Monero, Zcash, etc. So if we take a look, I did have this document here. Where did I find that? So what are ZK snark? So zero knowledge, succinct, non-integrated argument of knowledge refers to proof construction where to prove possession of certain information. So the idea again is in the idea of a medical record, right? You want to find out how many patients have cancer or an issue. Well, you don't want to know their names, but you want to know the information. How do you do that? Well, that's the idea of Midnight. You can utilize this blockchain with proof of knowledge, and you can get information without disclosing too much personal information. So you can build with these applications, you can build these dApps where, only certain information is public, some is private. And that's the idea there. So this is where I found it. Somewhere here, I thought. Yeah, so zero knowledge proofs can be verified within a few milliseconds, which is nice. They talked about that in their talk. So I highly recommend that you go to the Twitter, listen to that. With proof of length, only a few hundred bytes, even for statement programs, blah, 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 blah. So for Zcash, that would mean that malicious parties could create counterfeit coins, blah, 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 blah. So it protects all that. This is very complex, right? So let's go back to my board. It's a little bit easier to understand. So apparently the token is going to be called Dust. So there's going to be like a Dust token. And that's kind of like the latest that I heard. By the way, nothing is set in stone. This is just kind of, what the status quo is as of right now. So best use case, fungible tokens payments. So that's going to be Dust, and enterprise fiat options. So predictable costs. So if you're a enterprise, a company, and you want to use Midnight, so you want to build, for example, a medical record system where you can have some information where it's private and you can get access to it and use the ZK snarks or the zero knowledge proofs. Well, they want to make it and it was in the talk where you can pay with fiat and not just using the token. So the reason for this is if you're a business and you're not effectively that knowledgeable in crypto, or you don't want to deal with the tokens, well, let's make it easier for these companies to use Midnight. And I like that aspect. So I thought that was a pretty cool use case in practicality of what they're building. So you have that, the predictable cost, private dApps. So you can really see the best use case for identity, voting, private medical records. So again, how many patients have XYZ? Very, very, very important. So with Cardano, sure, you can have records and, you have Iagon, etc. But how are you going to limit some of the information, and how are you going to prove all this information without a private sidechain? So that's where it's very unique. So secure, private info, quantity, supplies, properties. So again, TypeScript, simple and easy to use, public and private ledger. So selective disclosure, that was a word that one of the team members was using. They're going to have selective disclosure. So when you're building using Midnight, you're building all these apps, you're going to have tools so that you can have some information private, some not. And it depends on what you're building, right? So if you're doing supply chain management, maybe you are Apple, right? And you want to disclose that we're making this many phones, or you know what I mean? You want to think about it in the sense that some information you want to keep secret, some doesn't have to be public, whereas some does. But how do you make it so that you can prove who you are? And that's where all of the idea of Midnight comes in. So I really thought that was interesting. If you guys want to, definitely take a screenshot of this, go over it, comment down below. What do you like most about Midnight? Me personally, I like the idea that we get a potential airdrop. This was talked in the past, but really I like the idea of seeing where this goes, because even for me, I cannot fathom the entire idea because again, I'm not a coder, but I am very curious about this infrastructure that they're building. So definitely comment down below. I guess I would say that I think it'd be cool for the medical field, right? You want to get this person's information, or you want to be able to, see how many people have this issue, but we don't want to disclose who they are, right? Because that's kind of like a breach of your own identity, right? And I don't know, it's nice to think about a world where we have more privacy, where we can get access to information, but without giving up all of our information. And I think this could be a very good solution. So the world needs this, even with voting, right? You have voting, right? And let's say that you use Midnight for voting, where you can prove, you've been doing this activity without giving your name, right? Because you don't want to give up your name to who you're voting for, so to speak. And I think Midnight could be a big player for that as well. So that's really all I got. Again, I'm still learning as I go, but I know that there's not a lot of content around Midnight, and there's a lot of, what is this? What's happening? And this is all the information that I've gathered so far. So definitely, everybody, check out the other courses that we have. We have a free Cardano mini course. So hit on the link in the description below. You get it for free. You learn about the basics of Cardano blockchain, how to set up wallets, and it's completely free. That's the goal of this. So with that being said, everybody, the moose is loose. He's getting tired. Almost 3 a.m., but I wanted to get this video out for you. So this will be out today, Thursday, around 2 p.m., so 12 hours from right now. Comment down below. Let me know, did this help you at all? Did this give you a little bit of a better understanding? Again, if you want more info, I highly recommend that you go to the Twitter in the Midnight website. So that's going to be at Midnight Network. Listen to this spiel here by Charles and the team, and then go to the website. So that's all we have for you all. Stay loose and pick up a hardware wallet. You have to protect your assets. Anyways, I'm going to keep rambling. Cheers, everybody.